Right, so I need to teach you the exercises before we start, otherwise it's going to be carnage. 3 exercises. Watch me for a rep or 2, and then you do a rep or 2, so that it's in your head and you know exactly what you're doing, so this thing flows, because these are mini circuits this morning. They're going to be over and done with before you know it. Classic circuit format is going to be 30 seconds on an exercise, straight in to exercise 2 for 30 seconds, straight in to exercise 3 for 30 seconds, and then only 15 seconds rest before we repeat it again for a further 2 times, so 3 times in total. First circuit, the first 3 exercises are simple. It's a sprawl and punch, okay? A sprawl is just like a burpee, but I want it fast, and I want you to be landing with your feet shoulder width apart, ready to land straight into your posture for 1, 2, 3, 4 punches like you mean them, okay? You're going to get tired, so try not to do this where you're struggling to breathe. Try to compose yourself, make your punches count, in and out, and you can see that I'm keeping my shoulders, my feet shoulder width apart. So if you usually burpee like that with your tight ankle mobility, you're on the money this morning, you're going to enjoy it. Then we're straight into alternative Superman. Such a boring name, I know. I'm sure we could have a better one. Now these are going to demand a good bit of strength in your lower back. We lift the right leg as we lift the left arm. Let's get them practiced now, please, because you might find that the coordination isn't quite there. And like I say, this is part of the warm-up, so please don't just stand there rotating your hips with your hands on them. Get yourself practicing, okay? Now, straight away from what I see, if you look at me now, with these, I want you lifting that leg straight. Okay, so if you look at my leg, I'm lifting it straight, which is going to really work the glutes into the lower back. What I don't want you to do is lift the knee like so. Okay, I see a lot of that when we do it. People lifting the leg like that, that's a no-no. Keep that leg straight, keep the glutes working hard, keep the work predominantly in the lower back. Next exercise is a simple squat. Okay, getting us started in the first circuit with a simple squat. And as always, focus on the best squat you can do. Speed it up by all means, but make sure you're going as fast as you're able to maintain perfect form, okay, and perfect technique. Add a pause at the bottom, okay, I recommend a short pause, because it's going to get that correct posture, form, etc. into the bottom of your squat. What should be, pull the knees apart, you should feel balanced on the foot, your spine, like you can see, is neutral, not like this, not slumped, not heels off, not knees caved in, okay, so by adding that pause, sit. You're ironing it into your brain. Right, we're going to start. 30 seconds, everybody. So like I said, it's 30 seconds on, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, 15 seconds rest. We need to be fast, okay? These transitions need to be fast. If you take all day, if you stand there and go, and have a breath, you're wasting time, okay? Please try to drill your head as soon as you hear that buzzer go, straight in and get the first couple of reps done, and that'll just set you off. In 5 seconds, we're going for our sprawl and punches. 3, 2, 1, let's work hard this morning, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I want you to think about, when you land those feet, bring the chest up proud before you do your punches. Chest up proud. If you have to take a brief millisecond to set yourself up for a good solid 4 punches, so be it. I would rather that than you coming up and giving it all soft, okay? Alternative Supermans, let's go, or down. So we lift left leg with the right arm, pause. Don't rush it. Focus on a good squeeze of the glutes into the lower back. Now this is a tough exercise. Hopefully you're feeling it like so. Remember, we're lifting the leg straight. I'm still seeing some bent legs on live. Keep the leg straight, do not bend from the knee. Squats next. When this buzzer goes, up on your feet, fast as you can. First rep might not be the best sit-up, test and adjust. But the point is, you're getting straight in and throwing yourself straight in to the next rep, the next exercise. So pretty simple, first round, good. When this buzzer goes, 15 seconds rest. Okay, enough time for you to go. Right, what's next? Sprawl and punches, okay? 5 seconds, be ready. Let's get it done. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Make your punches count, remember. Big breath in on the sprawl out, and then when you come up, fully exhale on the punches. Good. 10 seconds. This one gets my heart rate up, but the next two give us a chance to focus on my breathing. Straight down. First rep. Think about it. Keep that leg straight. Don't lift the foot. Imagine that piece of rope is attached to the back of your thigh. It's attached to the hamstring and it's being pulled from there. You'll feel like you can't really get the leg very high, which is right, that's correct. You'll feel like you're quite limited, which is why a lot of people then bend the knee and try to go higher. I don't want you to do that. Straight up squats. Remember, don't think, straight up go. Then test and adjust. Bodyweight squats gives us a perfect chance to catch our breathing. Now this 15-second rest coming up, that's enough time for a breather. Okay, your water breaks, etc. That's in between circuits. You're going to have a minute between circuits. So please, don't use that 15 seconds wrong. 15 seconds, have a drink of water by all means. But if it means you go into the other side of the room, and when this buzzer goes in 5 seconds, you miss out half the circuit. Stand by, the last round already. Sprawling punch. Chest round, 1, 2, 3, 4. Really focus on doing a bit of damage with those punches. Focus on the big breath in when you jump the legs out. Keep going. Come on, let's work. 3 seconds. Right, down we go. Supermans. One leg at a time, one arm at a time. Alternating, of course. Otherwise you'll probably roll over. Remember, it's controlled. When you go from an exercise like sprawl and punch, where it's all out, flat out, adrenaline's gone, you jump straight into a controlled exercise, you have to take control of your head. Otherwise you'll find that you're just going, ah! Too fast. Control, pause, down. Squats, up on your feet. For the first time in my life, I've got a hair in my eye. It's coming from the top of my head. Never had that before. Keep going. I felt my hair blowing in the wind the other day. It's also a first. Keep going. Well done, everyone. Take a rest, walk around. So at this point, you're nice and warm. The cobwebs, they're gone. Your head is in the zone, and you're going to give the next 3 circuits your all. Right, pay attention here. If you have a kettlebell, this is when you're going to use it. If you don't have a kettlebell, this is where you're not going to use it. And this is where, if you've got something like a bottle of water, something just lightweight, okay, it's going to help one of these exercises. But don't stress, this is not the time to go and start reassembling your garden. Right, okay, listen in. Kettlebell is the first exercise, is a kettlebell swing. Now, I'm going to say kettlebell swing. If you want to change it to single arm alternating, by all means do so, okay? That's not me trying to challenge you, but if you feel that that needs work and you want extra practice, do so, but make sure you're doing it safely and sensibly, just like we always talk about on our Monday classes. That's exercise 1. If you don't have a kettlebell, you're going to be doing star jumps. Please make a mental note of this. Star jumps. You're pushing the hips back, lengthening out the hamstrings, just like we do on these with the kettlebell swings. That's why I always substitute them with these. Good posterior chain. We defeat the purpose, everyone, if we just go like this. If you just tap the ground without pushing your hips back correctly, you defeat the purpose. Next exercise for everybody is a renegade row. If you have a kettlebell, it's going to look like this. Hand, in fact the setup's the same, sorry, whether you have a kettlebell or not, let's move that away. Full press up position, hand in the centre of your body, Beginners, wide legs. From here, pretend you're rowing a kettlebell, can of beans, bottle of water, something, okay, to add a little bit of weight if you like. But look at my hips. Don't use a weight that then makes you lift the hips up, because you know by now, this is not a core exercise any longer. It just becomes a really crazy, silly upper body exercise. You should feel your core working like hell when you lift that arm off. As soon as that arm comes off, you will feel your whole core. And when I say the whole core, that includes your lower back. If you're using a kettlebell, it looks like this. 1. If it feels easy enough to make it harder, bring your feet closer together. I want you to do 5 and then change. 5. To change, you don't need to keep getting in and out, you just need to simply move side to side a little bit. So whether you have a kettlebell or not, it doesn't matter. If you do have a kettlebell, your third exercise is going to be from the floor, clean, crush it, squeeze it, press, pull down, flick it off, change arms, okay? Again, that should not be new to you. If you've got a fancy watch on, twist it round. Up, racked position, pulled in tight, pressing with the elbow underneath, pulling the elbow down underneath the hand. This is where people who start pressing like this with the arm out to here, you're going to start putting undue strain on your shoulder, you're going to start hurting yourself. So please, that movement pattern that I always try to put into the warm-up, that's why that matters more than ever right about now. If you don't have a kettlebell, you're going to do press-ups. Press-ups, are we happy with that? Yes? Right, let's go for it then everybody, stand by. Don't worry, I'll shout out both exercises for at least the first round. So if you do have a watch on, because I know a lot of people like to put their fitness trackers on, twist it now, okay? It's still going to pick up your pulse. Don't keep twisting it every time you're doing it, because you're just going to waste time. Right, so the first exercise, everybody, is a kettlebell swing, which I'll show you from the side anyway. So at least if you're watching while you're working out, you can kind of see the key points at heart here. Remember, we're kettlebell swings, we drive these toes hard into the ground. You're not rocking on the feet. Feet are jammed just like a squat. 3, 2, off, star jumps, go. Now remember, you can see if you're watching me, you don't need to push the hips back all that far. You push them back until you feel your hamstrings are lengthened. But what I encourage you to do is imagine you're trying to hold a couple of coins under each armpit, and if you squeeze them in there, it's going to activate your upper back muscles and stop you. It's going to stop you, it's going to act as a brake when you get to here and stop you going further. Renegade rows, we're down. Hips are tight, 1, 2, 3. Now this is a controlled exercise. 5 on one side, 5 on the other. Or if you'd rather do, if you're a wee bit slower everybody, do 3 per side. Okay? If you're a wee bit slower, do 3 per side. But I want you to try and get equal reps in. 5 seconds. Next exercise. We're up, clean and press, or press ups if you don't have a kettlebell. 1, 2. Remember, I want you to separate the clean, hoot, to the press, to the shoulder, to back down. If your kettlebell's heavy here and you're struggling, that's okay. What I want you to do is use a bit of leg drive to get it up. That's going to teach you how to get more power in to the movement, down. Remember, relax, remember, we're not lowering, we're pulling it down. Pulling it down is going to help encourage that elbow to come down nice and tight, as opposed to lowering it. It'll come down soft and your shoulders won't be in a good position. Kettlebell swings, or star jumps. Now remember, my toes, driving them hard into the ground. My foot should not feel like it's going from heel to toe. It should just feel cemented to the floor. When I lock my hips out, I'm squeezing my butt as hard as I can, and that's going to stop me putting my pelvis into all sorts of dodgy positions that may hurt your lower back. Squeeze the hell out of the butt. Renegade goes. Let's go for 3 per side, everybody. Unless you're managing 5, I think 3 might be a better number. Control, remember. If you don't feel your core working like hell as soon as you lift an arm off, even if you're doing it body weight only, you've probably got the hips too high. This is a great core exercise. It's a great strengthener. But just like anything, you only get the true value out of it if you do it properly. straight up. Kettlebell clean and press or press ups. Remember, if your kettlebell's too heavy, just make sure that you're using a bit of leg drive as you punch, and if it's still feeling way too heavy and out of control, that's fine. Put the kettlebell down and do press ups. Look at my position here. I press and I pull the elbow down. Drive the feet and snap the hips for the clean. Punch, pull down. Good. I'm still seeing this, everybody. We need to iron this out big time. I'm still seeing this. Okay? Elbow way out to the side. You're missing out on a hell of a lot of range of movement and you're putting a lot of stress on the shoulder. Kettlebell swings. Let's go. Or star jumps. So, Mondays, for the foreseeable, our kettlebell class, that's when we'll talk more in depth about these movements, okay? So if you don't feel confident, or things don't feel quite right, make sure you pick up the Monday classes. I can tell you now, straight into it, Renegade Rows, if your kettlebell swings feel like they need work, or you've not quite mastered them, that's what you work on before you even think about progressing to any other movement. Because if you don't know how to control your hips and generate that power from the hips into your kettlebell, all you're going to do when you start doing different movements with your kettlebell is hurt yourself. Because you'll start compensating, you'll start using brute force. Good. Clean and press or press ups. Pull the kettlebell down. Remember, from this racked position, we're crushing the hell out of it. You must crush the hell out of your kettlebell. Kettlebell is sitting on the outside of my arm. It's not sitting back here. Keep the elbow pulled in nice and tight. But remember, we are not sitting on our hips like this, okay? See people holding their child like that. It's hellish, okay? Make sure you've got this in the racked position. Still nice and tall, nice and proud. I've got it pulled in, okay, and I'm not compensating, okay? Like I say, you see people holding their kids like this. Yep, it's terrible for your spine, okay? It's going to start introducing scoliosis, I think it is. When you start getting a kind of S-shaped spine, okay, you're all going to shot. You'll see a lot of people either walking about like this, or when they exercise, they go into a squat, start going off to one side. I see that a lot, okay? So be sensible. Practice these positions. If it doesn't feel right, slow it down and practice it in your own time, but we'll leave it at that because it's not a kettlebell class. But be safe, be sensible at home, okay? You don't have someone there keeping an eye on you, so if you don't feel things are right, they're definitely not right, you need to take it back a notch. Slow it down, get rid of the weight, understand the movement pattern, introduce the weight slowly. Right, 3 exercises next. An inchworm, X-plank. Pay attention. It's an inchworm, so we should be setting up as if we're squatting. We squat down onto the hands, we walk out. From here, I want you to try to get yourself nice and wide. You know what X-planks, when we go like this, we lift the hips, we reach across, drop the hips, we lift the hips, we reach across, we drop the hips, then we walk back in. So you're going to have to go a bit wider with your stance, but I suggest that you do your inchworm normally, walk out, and then just jump your feet a wee bit wider, and your hands will naturally go. And remember, it should be a core exercise, but you're going to feel a hell of a lot of good stretch, a hell of a lot of good stretching going on in your hamstrings and your glutes here, okay? So work with it, separate the 2 movements, and it's a good mobility drill, but it should be the core that's working. So make sure when you're in that position that you lift the hips to reach back. You don't just crunch forward like this, okay? Happy with X-planks, everybody? Those make sense? Good. Window wipers, hard exercise, okay? I don't know why it took me so long to put these in the class. We get into the L-sit position like so. My hands, everyone, they're there to balance and support me, but predominantly, there's not that much weight on them, okay? Because I'm trying to keep my core working. Absolute, if you cannot do this, if you do it and you end up rolling and you can't get up, then I recommend you put your feet like I've got mine now, okay? Put them at 90 degrees, start off like so. Now be careful, this is a great lower back mobility drill, but if you've got a lot of tightness in your lower back, please listen, okay? Please pay attention to this one, everyone, because this is important. if your lower back's pretty tight, okay, this is great for mobilising it, but the problem then occurs if you start going fast, okay? Let's say you're lacking range from here to the floor and you just start going fast, all that force, and you're trying to hold your back in position, it doesn't have that range, you're going to pull it, okay? So please be sensible. If your lower back feels that tight when you're doing this, go slow. By all means go the full way, but go slow. Happy with that? Or window wipers, straight legs. So be careful on that one. If you lack that range in your back, be sensible. And you'll feel it, you'll feel that lack of range because you'll feel the tightness. Just don't go putting a lot of force onto it because you will eventually pull your lower back out. Finally, this can be done with a kettlebell. If you brought your kettlebell this morning and it's manageable weight, I suggest you use the kettlebell because it's there. But if you don't have one, it doesn't matter, okay? So what we're going to do is a single leg Romanian deadlift. Before I show you this movement pattern, I know I've showed you it many times, all I want you to think about is the warm-up. Okay, when we do our warm-up and we do our floor taps, we push our hips back, touch the ground, drive through, squeeze the butt, don't we? This is the movement pattern. Hips back, hips back. Remember what I was saying about you pushing the hips back? You should find that your hands touch in line with your feet, not in front. Think about that right now, okay? Now don't do it with your feet together, otherwise you're not going to have room. So I want you to push the hips back, snap them forward and squeeze them. That's what we call a Romanian deadlift. A Romanian deadlift. Okay? Pay attention to my spine. Notice how it stays in the same position as it does from here to here. The reason that goes wrong is because people drop the shoulders and they try to reach for the ground. They try to reach for the ground with the kettlebell. That's a no-no, okay? All I'm trying to do is push my hips back, and as a result of pushing my hips back, I'll touch the ground with that kettlebell. So all I'm doing is pushing my hips back, my upper body, my spine stays as it does here. How do I do that? Squeeze my shoulder blades, pull them down, keep the chest proud. Happy with that? That's your Romanian deadlift. The next step up, if you feel pretty confident with that, is a single leg Romanian deadlift. And that's what I tell you now, to bring the feet closer together, really drive the toe into the ground. Do not change the movement pattern in your head. My hips go back, my chest stays up, and I lift my leg as I do so. Take your time, you can see I'm nice and controlled, nice and balanced. If you do it correctly, if you're pushing your hips back, this kettlebell should go right above your toes. Nice place to be if you decide to drop it, okay? Hips back, hips back, hips back, hips back. I'm just lifting my leg. Again, people get all messed up with this movement and start thinking about reaching for the ground. What happens when you reach for the ground? You break form, your spine bends, and you end up with a kettlebell in front of my foot. You see that there? So this 12 or whatever it is, starts to feel a lot heavier. Okay? And what am I doing here in this position? Put my lower back under so much more load than it needs to be. So keep it tight, practice it. Happy with that? Yep. Okay, and if you don't have a kettlebell, it doesn't matter, like I said. You can see me, I'm putting my hand out. If you lose balance with this one, just go with it. If you lose balance completely, just go with it. The worst thing you can do, everyone, if you're using a kettlebell or any form of weight, is see if you try to lose balance. No, if you don't try. If you lose balance, and you try to rescue it, and then you go, huh, and you try to, ha, you're going to hurt yourself, okay? So if you lose balance, just go with the flow, reset. In depth, by all means, but I need people to understand that movement pattern because it's easy just to throw yourself in, think you're doing it right, and then wondering why you're hurting your lower back, okay? Take your time with these new movement patterns. First exercise is an inch one, X plank, let's go. I'll walk out, get my feet nice and wide, lift my hips, try to touch my ankles, and then I walk back in. I'll walk out, nice and wide with the legs, lift the hips. If you can't touch the heel, try to touch the middle of your shin. If things are that tight, everybody, great. Someone's unmuted themselves and I can hear them breathing. What do I must sound like? It only bothers because I hate to think what I must sound like. Now we're straight in to window wipers. We're lying flat on our back, and remember you can do the L-sit variation, which is tough. Now, as always, take your time. If things are feeling tight, you really have to take your time on this. Think of a mobility class. I don't want you going fast if things are sore and tight and liable to be pulled. Good. Single leg Romanian deadlifts. So if you're using weight, take your time. And if you lose balance, that's fine. Don't try to rescue it. Remember, it's just a warm-up. It's hips back, touch the toes. Hips back, touch the toes. If you're doing it correctly, you should feel your hamstrings stretching out, and then boom, you're coming up. And what you're doing with the butt, hopefully by now, that just happens. Squeeze the butt as hard as you can. Whether you're using a kettlebell or just body weight, it doesn't matter. You're still going to feel that working. You might find the kettlebell helps with your balance a wee bit, but then if it's too heavy, it won't. Inchworm X planks. Let's go for it. Stand by. Hips back, and you're reaching across. You're reaching across. Single leg Romanian deadlift coming at you. There we go. Good. So again, take your time. If you've never done this movement pattern before and you're going fast, slow it down. This is complicated. Like I said, if you're not sure about this one now, the Romanian deadlift, and the thing that makes it Romanian compared to a regular deadlift is that my knees don't bend. After this round's up, whoever's unmuted themselves, please mute yourself. Window wipers, let's go. I just got excited. I love my single leg Romanian deadlifts that much. I just wanted to get into them. If you went the correct way, good for you. If you didn't, it doesn't matter, you're still getting them done. Relax there everybody, right? Please check your mutes. The only person you should hear struggling to breathe and farting and pumping and going on is me, unfortunately. But I'm hearing someone else, and I hope it's not my echo. Right, let's go for it then. Inchworm out. X plank up. Remember, you're lifting the hips to reach back. Don't break form. It's a controlled exercise. Lift the hips, try to reach the toes or the ankles. Reaching across with the upper body. Yes, window wipers. You got it right this time. It's a good exercise, this one, for the core, and you'll feel it in the core. Now I want you, if you're doing them, keep them tidy, as best you can of course. Try to keep the legs as straight as you can, and try to keep your body in that 90-degree L-sit position. Because if your legs start to drop forward, it'll feel a lot easier. Single leg Romanian deadlifts. Let's get them done. Takes a lot of concentration, even if you're doing body weight. Remember, chest is proud, shoulder blades are pulled together. My upper body is not moving. It's my hips that go back. As a result, my torso lowers. But this movement is not a bow forwards. Relax here everybody. Right, please check your mutes. Check your mutes. I tell you what, I'll do it. Right, you ready for the last 4 exercises? The last 4? The last 3 exercises of the 4th circuit. Let's do it. Right, you ready for it? Okay, I'm giving you a choice. Some of you might not have room, but to be fair, most people do. We're going to do either a crab walk, okay? Now you don't need a lot of room, but most of these are out in your garden, and to be fair, you've got a pretty wealthy estate there, because there's plenty of room. Boom. If you have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, you definitely have enough room in that living room too, Margaret. I can see you. I can see you not looking too happy about this one. Right. So forget it, everybody's going to do this, because as I show you now, you can do 3 forwards and 3 back. If you don't have enough room, I don't exactly have a lot of room in here, but just stay in the camera shot that is. I can do 3 and 3. Just try to make it flow backwards and forwards, yep. If you don't, in fact, yeah, if you're not going to do that because for whatever reason, it's going to be gorillas again. We've done them the other day, and you know, the reviews were splendid and everybody loved them, so we're going to do them again. Okay, right. From there, you're going to go into my favourite exercise, flutter kicks. Okay, or so it would seem. I like flutter kicks. It's just you and your core burning in your mental head. Okay, it's just you and the burning to lie there for 30 seconds and work it out. Everybody on that screen now, right now, you can do that for 30 seconds. If you put the feet down beforehand, it was your choice, okay? It's not because you needed to, I can tell you that for nothing. Spot sprints to finish off. Fast, explosive spot sprints. I want you sprinting. The feet should be coming off the ground. Think about high knees. Don't think about the footwork, because that's when it kind of goes to pot, everyone. If people try to think about fast feet, it's like when you do those little agility ladders at Bootcamp, for example. If you're thinking about your footwork, that's when it kind of always goes to pot. Think about your arms. Think about pull your knees, just like you do for the high knees. Same movement pattern as the high knee, but we cut it real short. Right, you ready for this? Crab walks, or gorillas if you must. Flutter kicks and spot sprints in 5 seconds. Yes. Make sure you're not sliding your bum across the floor. We keep this fast, light. Faster you go, easier it is. Honestly. Don't take my word for it though. Yes, look at that. Good. Bet your neighbours will be wondering what the hell you're doing. They've lost the plot then, what? Right, okay, next exercise will be flutter kicks, which is easy, because we can just go boom, down. There we are now. If you want to sit in your hands, which I like to do, helps your balance a wee bit. But remember, look up at your feet. Sit up a wee bit. Get those upper abs firing up. Don't just lie flat back. Sit up a wee bit, especially if you're feeling you've got a lot of pressure in your lower back. Sit up a wee bit and you'll help just drive those hips down a bit more. Makes it harder, but we're all about that, remember. Right, spot sprints, I'm up. No setup required, just get sprinting. Go, drive the arms, remember what I said. If you drive your arms fast, most people's feet should go in rhythm with their arms. So if you really think about chopping those arms, your feet should go nice and quick. If you try to think about fast feet, maybe that works for you, but for the majority it probably won't. You'll end up kind of getting tripped up. Let's go, come on. Beautiful. 2 more run throughs to go. Hopefully you're feeling good. Right, crab walks. It's all about the triceps. If you're feeling the back of your arms, hotting like hell, burning like hell, should I say, not hotting like hell. That's what we're all about. So if you decide to take a wee tour of your garden, that's fine, because remember, it's flutter kicks next. So you can literally drop wherever you are and do the flutter kicks. So when you hear the buzzer go, just simply drop flat. Good, flat, sit in hands, go. No setup required there. We're already down in that position. We just need to let the arms and feet go. Now remember with our flutter kicks, try to keep the legs straight. How do we do that? Point your toes towards your shins, but as in pull them back. Push your knee down as you lift the feet. You want to feel like the movement's coming from your hips, not the knees. We shouldn't be fluttering like I'm showing you now, that's wrong. Straight legs, straight up, spot sprints, no setup required. Just get up, start waving those arms around, and let's get it done. Good. Remember, it's not a jog. We're trying to go as fast as we can. We can't keep up the breathing with it, it's too fast. That's what we're after. So you get to the point where you almost feel like you're starting to slow down, but you're still going 100%, 100%. Fatigue, yep, sure. We may slow down a bit. We're still trying to give it. Oh, we're all Good work, everyone. Really good work. One more round, and today is done. Today is done. So let's get it done. Crab walks. Go! Now if you're doing these and you're feeling a lot of tightness in your shoulder, where the chest feeds into your shoulder, do it or don't do it, but if you can't remember the number, but the overhead mobility class that we've done, that's going to attack that tightness. Whether that matters to you or not, that's up to you. But if that's real tight in there, let's go for it. What are we on? Flutter kicks. Damn it. Let's go. Flutter kicks. If you're feeling a lot of significant tightness in that area when you're doing your crab walks, you'll probably find that you're quite round shouldered. As in your shoulders pull forward. You find it quite hard to keep your shoulder blades pulled together. Or when you sat, you always default into a hunched position. Let's go, spot sprints. And that can be remedied. Not with an hour's mobility class every day of the week. Just a couple of movements that you can throw into your day randomly. And over the space of a week or two, you'll feel a big difference. Again, that's up to you. I know a lot of people don't like the crab position. Just get a lot of tightness in here. That's because there is a lot of tightness in there. And it's one of those areas, kind of like the ankles, that you have to keep on top of. Right, okay. Hopefully you enjoyed that, everybody. Not an easy circuit, I'm not saying that. But I'd certainly say, compared to the usual Sunday, the intensity was spread out a bit more instead of just converged into one big thing. Right, how are we feeling? We feeling good? Feeling refreshed and ready to attack your Sunday, whether that's a chilled Sunday or whether it's a crazy Sunday. Whatever you get up to, hopefully you're ready for it. Thank you very much, and tomorrow morning, kettlebell complex. We're sticking with the complexes for the kettlebells just now because it keeps the circuit simple and it allows us to introduce and build on new movements. Okay. Now, as always, if you don't manage to make the Monday morning class, because obviously it's Monday morning, and you're doing the catch up, if you jump on, if you've missed the past few, and you just jump onto one and you think, Jesus, I can't do that, it's too hard. It's because I'm building each class up, so try to go back. I think we're on, what, the third week now of them? Try to go back to the first one, and then the second one, and then the third, because we're building things and progressing things naturally. Turkish get-ups, okay? If you are doing kettlebells this week, I urge you to practice some Turkish get-ups either today or tonight, or to just watch the video and try and remember mentally in your head how to do it, because we'll be thrown into it, and I don't want to waste a whole morning trying to explain a Turkish get-up when we've already done it and there's a video there showing how to do it. Okay, I've posted that up, so it's there, it's pinned. Thank you very much, thank you for making it here, and like I say, if you use that link from now on, you shouldn't need the password if you just hit the link, because it's built into the link. But if other people, because I know some people join differently, I don't know how they do it, but they have to type in the password's pretty obvious. Okay, you shouldn't forget that. Thank you very much, have a lovely day. Any questions, I am here for them, okay? But if you don't, then be gone and enjoy the rest of your weekend.